Greetings, Earth Prime. This is Peter from Earth 626, where we are celebrating a very special holiday. So happy end year to everyone on Earth Prime. Now, I don't know what it's like for you guys or what you call it, but here, end year is where we celebrate the fact that a year is ending and we rejoice that the year has ended. So, with all that comes videos for entertainment and nerds alike with best of, worst of, most anticipated. So, I have done my worst of video in this dimension, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to see what effects it'll have if I spread my videos to the multiverse. So, this one is specifically for you, Earth Prime. So, welcome. This is, at least as far as I know on this Earth, these are my most anticipated movies for the coming year here on Earth 626. So, if these movies have already come out by the time you watch this, hopefully they were good, or hopefully they're great. So, without further ado, let's get to the list of most anticipated movies of 2023. But one or two rules I want to make very clear. This list is only movies that are being theatrically released, at least as of this moment on this Earth. Now, maybe on your Earth, they were released via some other streaming service or something, but here they were theatrical, at least at the time of this recording. Also, this is also just an estimate. Some of these have trailers, some of them didn't. Again, who knows what's happening on your Earth. But let's cut the chit chat and get to what you're here to watch. As I said, most anticipated movies of 2023. Starting off, I want to do some honorable mentions. And right off the bat, I'm just going to do a category here of any Marvel movies or DC movies that I don't mention in my top 10. Because trust me, that's what my channel is about. That's what I really like. So there's probably going to be a lot of comic book movies on this list. But honorable mentions that aren't on it include movies such as The Marvels, which I'm looking forward to seeing these three great characters together and see how they interact. Movies like Kraven, I'm just really curious about what they do with that character. I'm sure Aaron Taylor, that's the actor who's playing him here, is going to be great. But with some great movies and some bad ones, I'm really curious to see how they play out this film. You know, how is it going to be similar to the Kraven from the comics? Or how are they changing it? You know, I'm just really curious, and until I see an actual trailer, I'm going to try and be optimistic about it. Next up, we have animated movies from Disney and Pixar. For example, Pixar is releasing Elementals. Just one little teaser. It looks interesting. It's quote unquote an original idea, original IP. It's not a sequel. It's something new. That'll be interesting, and it does look great. The other one is Disney's Wish, which I have no idea about. I just know it's Disney and it's animated, so I definitely want to check that one out. And then there's other nerd fandoms that I'm looking forward to, whether it's the new Transformers with the Beast Machines and Beast Wars and all that. I'm not exactly sure, I can't remember now what that movie is called. Oh yes, Rise of the Beasts. I'm sorry, get a little scatterbrained sometimes. Also, looking forward to Super Mario Brothers because I'm not a huge Mario guy. I mean, I like Mario, so I don't care as much about the voice actor. Here it's going to be Chris Pratt that other fans do. And it looks great. My wife really likes Mario, so I'm anxious to see it with her, see what she thinks. So yeah, to me, it looks like it'll be a lot of fun. It looks entertaining. Looks like the type of movie that I'm going to enjoy. And yes, there are other ones that I'm looking forward to. But without further ado, let's get into the whole reason you're actually here. And that is the top 10 most anticipated movies, and we're going to start with number 10. So coming in at number 10, we have a movie that, if you know me, you might not think I'm interested in, or is kind of very out there. This is one that I'm sure is not going to be on a lot of people's lists, but that is Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. And here's why. I'm not a D&D guy, but in the past couple months, I have become a D&D guy. Now, I was looking forward to this movie because it looked good, it looked entertaining, it looked funny, the adventure looked great, just without any real knowledge. I mean, I knew some basics. I had watched some things about D&D, so I had some idea. I had a general idea. I had done other role-playing games. But the past, I'm going to say 3 months, maybe longer, I've actually started my first real D&D campaign with a couple of friends. So the idea of really understanding and appreciating this movie more, and the fact that I will get to see it with them, that just raises the bar on this movie for me. It's one of those films that, like I said, it looks funny, it looks entertaining. The more I think about it, the more I hear about it, it's like, okay, I wonder how much of this movie was actually role-playing. Like, did they actually roll dice as they were writing the script to see if their character would succeed or not? That's one thing I'm definitely looking forward to, that maybe they'll talk about that in bonus features on the Blu-ray or something, which I would love to know. But as much as the movie looks entertaining, I really think this is the main reason that this is number 10 is because of the people I know I'm going to get to spend time watching it with. And for me, I love the movies, I love the entertainment, I love getting away from reality. But the truth is, you got to spend time watching movies with friends or family. Yeah, I love going seeing movies alone, but hey, it's about the experience, which is why I like seeing older movies on the big screen, and yeah, paying to see it, because that's the way movies were meant to be seen. But I'm rambling, but that's why, for me, Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves comes in at number 10. Coming in at number 9, we have another, or should I say the first, comic book movie on this list, and that is Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Now, I had a hard time kind of putting this on this list or figuring out where to put it, because I'm really looking forward to this movie because I love that first Aquaman film. Jason Momoa was great, and I know there's a bunch, at least here in this dimension, there's a lot of controversy surrounding Amber Heard. But I try to not think about that, especially when I'm going to the movies. And I really like Amber Heard as Mira. I thought she was really good in the first movie. So yeah, I like both of them in these main roles. And I'm curious to see where this is going to go. I believe they said we were going to get some more Black Manta, which is great because, yeah, he's the only real Aquaman villain I know, besides Ocean Master. But also, I believe, if I remember, this comes out after the Flash movie comes out, which supposedly changes a whole bunch of stuff. Because here, James Gunn is in charge now of the DC universe. So I'm not exactly sure what they tweaked or how this is changed because of stuff that's going on behind the scenes. But we also don't have a trailer. So if the trailer comes out and it looks terrible, it could easily drop off my top 10 most anticipated. Or, the trailer could be great and it could go up the list. But right now, just based purely on what we know, based on that last movie, I'm really looking forward to this movie. And yeah, it's been a long time. So yeah, for me, coming in at number 9, we have Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Coming in at number 8 is another movie that might surprise people that I have on my top 10 list. Or it's another movie that I don't really see on many lists. And for me, I really liked the movies that came before it, and I really liked the one right before this one. Now, my only concern about this movie is if it will actually come out. You never know. But what is the movie I'm talking about? Well, it's Ghostbusters Afterlife 2. And I'm just going to call it that because we don't have an official title. I don't know if it's going to be Ghostbusters Afterlife, or Ghostbusters Afterlife 2, or they're going to have a totally new title for it. But I'm really looking forward to this movie because, again, like I said with Mario, I wasn't a huge Ghostbusters fan as a kid. A lot of these movies I saw later in life. I still saw them when I was like in high school, I think, or maybe middle school at one point for some of these older movies. So I didn't grow up with them. I wasn't invested in them like a lot of fans were. For example, I don't remember watching the real Ghostbusters cartoon that I know a lot of Ghostbusters fans did. And I liked that all-female led Ghostbusters. I thought it was fun. It was entertaining. It had elements from the original. And I just had a good time with it. And that's really all I've ever wanted from these Ghostbusters films. I may be a stickler when it comes to certain movies, like Spider-Man and stuff. But primarily when I go to movies, I just want to have fun. I want to enjoy myself. I want to get lost in the story, lost in the characters, forget my problems for 2 hours or 3 hours, or at this point, even 4 hours. And these Ghostbusters movies do it for me. And I really, really liked Ghostbusters Afterlife. I thought it was really well done. It really did a good job of merging, or passing the torch, I should say, to a new generation while including, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd. Ghostbusters fans are going to hate me, but I forget the other Ghostbusters actors' names. But it did a good job of merging this new cast with the old cast. And I'm really looking forward to where this story is going to go. Not to mention, while the kids are great and the cast is great there, I mean, the adults are good too. I mean, it's got Paul Rudd. And Paul Rudd's generally good in his movies. He's funny. I mean, that's why, spoiler alert, he's going to be somewhere else on this list. But that is why Ghostbusters Afterlife comes in at number 8. Coming in at number 7 is a movie that, admittedly, I did not originally have on this list. And I just waited just long enough, or maybe where you are, too long, to do this list, which meant that I was able to get a trailer for the movie. At the time, I had this lower on the list because I had lost interest in the film. I was still excited for it, but with no new footage, I was like, yeah, okay, I'll see it, but it's been so long, so much stuff has gone on that I've lost some interest in it. But with the release of that Flash trailer, The Flash has upped my excitement level, and that's why it's in at number 7 right now. I mean, this movie just looks great and fun and so much humor. And like people have said, yeah, let's be honest. We are going to see this movie as fans primarily for Michael Keaton. This really is Michael Keaton's movie. Let's not beat around the bush. That's why a lot of fans are going to go see it, especially if you're not a fan anymore of Ezra Miller. But again, I try to distance the actor or actress from the part they're playing. That being said, this movie looks really good. It looks entertaining, looks fun. I can't wait to see Michael Keaton back in the Batsuit. The Supergirl that they got looks great. I love that her part is the Superman part in the Flashpoint story. And it looks like while there's not a lot of similarities to Flashpoint, besides like the main crust of Barry changing the past to save his mother, it looks like we don't get, the Wonder Woman versus Aquaman part of the story. But we get the Superman story, but it's Supergirl. And I like that. I mean, whether it was hearing Michael Keaton's Batman theme play was great. Getting him or hearing him say, I am Batman. I could do the voice, but I'm not going to bother doing it right now. But just everything about it, it looked great. Now, I do wish, like I probably mentioned, or maybe your peer mentioned it in his reaction to The Flash, I wish they'd kept Zod a secret. I feel like that would have been a really good secret to keep, unless maybe there's bigger surprises. You know, maybe other Justice Leaguers are actually in this movie that we don't know about. Maybe we'll get introduced to the new Batman. Who knows? In that case, then yeah, sure. Show us Zod, and we'll be more surprised about those other things. But it's due to that trailer that The Flash has moved into the number 7 spot. Coming in at number 6 is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I'm really getting excited for this movie. The more I see trailers and TV spots, and the more I hear about people who have seen this movie and their reviews, and just the things they talk about, I am getting more and more excited to see this film. Now, I will admit, which seems to be something I've said a lot in this video, Ant-Man isn't one of my favorite Avengers. Don't get me wrong, I love Paul Rudd as Scott Lang. I think the cast in these Ant-Man films have been great. They've been entertaining, they've been funny. But they're not the first ones I will go to if I want to watch an MCU film. They're really not. But this movie looks great. It looks bonkers. It looks insane. There's got to be surprises in this film that we have no idea. Maybe ones that we've suspected. I heard somebody on another channel talk about maybe we'll see the Fantastic Four. I think that would be fun if they did that in a certain way. But just based on new stuff, that's probably not going to be the case. It would be great to see just other cameos again. But the more I think about it, I don't want these superhero movies to go overboard on the cameos. Or if they're cameos, they need to make sense. Like, really make sense. But this movie just looks like it's going to be insane. Who knows? I mean, how many Ant-Mans are we going to see? Are we going to see it, are we going to see different Ant-Man suits from different versions? I mean, are there going to be other Wasps? Are we going to see comic book versions of Wasp? And who knows what we're going to see with this movie? And yeah, Jonathan Majors looks like he's going to be great as Kang. I'm really excited to see him. Kang was one of the 3 main Avenger villains that I'm like, I want these characters to fight the Avengers. He was one of the ones that I'm like, I know this character, and he's got to be one of the ones they fight. The other 2, I'm not including Loki, because Loki was just duh. But I was like, they got to fight Ultron. I want to see him fight Ultron. And they did. Thanos was another big one. And here, at least, we've done Thanos. So, yeah, Kang was the other one that I'm like, I want Kang, because I like Kang. Not that I admittedly read a lot of Kang's comics, but he was one of the ones that I knew. So at least I'm not like, who's this character? But as excited as I am to see Kang, I'm actually a little more excited to see MODOK, because this is an unusual character. He's a weird character in the comics. What they're doing with him here sounds interesting. I'm really curious how that's going to work. The snippets we've got of his design look interesting. So I'm really curious how they're going to make MODOK work, or how the idea of MODOK is going to work here. And is he going to come back to the main MCU? I mean, who knows what's going to happen at the end of this? Is Kang going to die and we end up getting another Kang? There's just a lot of things that could happen with this movie. And it's honestly nice to see Ant-Man take that next step. Because, yeah, I love his individual films. But it's going to be nice to see him take on a bigger threat than just a family type of threat. But anyway, I'm getting way ahead of myself. When I see this movie, I'll probably, if this stuff happens, I'll probably mention it again. Not that your universe will get that video, but anyway, yeah, I'm really excited for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. which is why it comes in at number 6. Coming in at number 5, we have a movie that, I'll just say it, I'm just looking forward to the action, the stunts, and I get the story. I guess see where they go with the story, but it's really just the action and the humor in the movie that I'm really looking forward to. You could probably have a really bad story like some of the previous films have in this series, and I'd be okay with it. But it just looks bonkers. It looks insane. And yes, part of the reason it's on here is also because I feel weird just putting all superhero movies on here. Because, yeah, I'm looking forward to all of them, like I mentioned early on. So, I will admit, I wanted to diversify my top 10 list a little bit. I don't have the movies, or I probably don't have a lot of movies that other people put on their list, because they might look good and they might be good, but like I've said time and time again, I want to be entertained, and this movie looks like it will be very, very entertaining. And that is Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. I mean, yeah, what more can I say from this trailer? We don't really have much of a story based on the trailer. We have a little bit, but I mean, you really don't know much of what the story is. You just know, hey, look at all this cool action stuff, and here's the music, you know, that you love, and we got these characters back, and you got the humor, you got the gadgets. So, yeah, I mean, at this point, what more can you really say about it? That's why I'm looking forward to this movie, and that's why Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 comes in at number 5. Coming in at number 4, we have Shazam! Fury of the Gods, another DC title. And this is the one that I think, of all the DC movies coming out, people might be like, okay, that's a weird one to have that high on the list. But I loved that first Shazam movie. It's in my top 3 favorite DC, I guess just DCU, DCEU films. And I had so much fun with that. Maybe it was partly because I didn't know the Shazam character as well as I know other ones. But, oh man, I just had so much fun with that movie. Zachary Levi was great as Shazam. I mean, and the rest of the cast was fantastic. And getting to see this trailer, seeing the trailers for this movie, they just are bringing on the humor. But at the same point, they're building the story up. They're giving us more. It looks like there's so much more action in this movie than there was in the first one. The only slightly downside I will say to it, at least for me, is the fact that it does seem darker than the first one. Maybe I'm completely wrong. But don't get me wrong. I do like movies to go darker at times, but I also like lighthearted, fun action thrillers. I don't feel like you have to go darker with the second movie every single time. And I guess that's just how I feel DC goes. I just feel like so many of their movies follow the Dark Knight trilogy route, you know, with, okay, we got to make our dark movies more dark. We got to make them more adult. And you don't need to do that. I'm sorry. But I am an adult, and I love the Marvel movies, and I prefer them to DC 9 times out of 10. But that could also be just because I'm a Marvel guy. But I have been excited for this movie. I have wanted this movie since the first one came out. And yeah, this is the one that, from the moment we saw the trailer, I was so excited for it. And again, the only reason this one definitely beats out Flash and Aquaman is A, Aquaman, we haven't gotten a trailer for it yet. And B, with the Flash, I just did not have the excitement for it prior to that first trailer because we just weren't getting stuff about it. Shazam! Fury of the Gods was the one we had the most information, the most trailers for, the best idea of. So that's why, with all the reasons I've mentioned, that's why Shazam! Fury of the Gods comes in at number 4. now we've reached the top 3. But before we do that, I'd like to put something in this video for people in my own dimension. I am trying, or my goal for this next coming year is to reach 100 subscribers. Now I know to some YouTubers that's no big deal, but I would really love to be able to reach 100 subscribers by the end of the year. I don't know what I'm going to do if I do, besides being overjoyed, but maybe I'll think of something. So if you haven't joined, if you haven't clicked that like button, or just clicked to subscribe to Fandom University, why don't you go ahead, help me reach that 100 subscribers. I would really appreciate it. And hey, the more subscribers I get, the more videos I'll be making, and a lot more nerdy stuff, and a lot more just fandom stuff in general. And who knows, I can try to do more projects, venture out a little bit more. For example, try to do more of the Marvel Hotline videos that I started, which more of those are coming. If you watch those, don't worry. If you haven't, go ahead and check them out. But anyway, let me know at the end of this video what were your most anticipated movies for this year, and if you've seen any of them or not. Now, with all that, what you would consider boring information plugging out of the way, let's get on to number 3, which is Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Yes, Guardians 3 is my number 3 most anticipated movie. This movie just looks great. I am really, really, really looking forward to this movie. The trailers have been great. I love the humor. We just got a new one, and I think the story looks great. It's one of those movies that I can't wait for, but I also don't want to have happen. In the sense that I can't wait for this movie because it looks great. I love these characters. I love what James Gunn was able to do with them. The humor looks great. The action looks great. I mean, visually it looks amazing and everything. But at the same time, I'm dreading it and not looking forward to it because I'm pretty sure I'm going to cry during this movie. It just seems like they're hinting that a bunch of Guardians are going to die, or at least 1 or 2 very popular ones are going to die. Now, who knows? They could be making us think that certain characters, like, if you've seen the trailer, it feels like Rocket's going to die. Who knows? Maybe Rocket won't be the one to die, and it'll be somebody else, and they're just trying to mislead us, which would be something they would do. But if it comes to not seeing this movie at all, because it's going to make me cry and it's going to be sad, or seeing this movie, I'm going to go see this movie every single time, because I think for a while we weren't sure if we were going to get it, and we weren't sure if it was going to be James Gunn directing it. So I'm really excited for this movie. It looks fantastic. I can't wait to see it. Yeah, I mean, sure, Ant-Man has Kang and MODOK, and we don't really know what the Marvels have yet, but but Guardians has everything I want. It looks great. I'm interested to see what exactly they do with the High Evolutionary, because he's a kind of, I don't want to say he's an obscure character, but at the same time, it's interesting that James Gunn picked him. But by the same token, it makes sense that James Gunn would pick a character like the High Evolutionary, and he is part of Rocket's story. So, but with all that being said, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 comes in at number 3. Coming in at number 2 is a movie, if you watched anything on this channel, if you looked at any of my playlists, you're gonna find this character somewhere. All you have to do is look at what I have in my background or look at my shirt. Yep, coming in at number 2 is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I can't wait. What more do I have to say? It's a Spider-Man movie. And I'm excited for Spider-Man movies. Now, admittedly, I am not a Miles Morales fan. It's something I've said before in this channel, and it's something I'm going to say again. But Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, I was ready to hate that movie. And I loved it. They did Miles Morales right, in my opinion, and they treated him right, along with Peter Parker and all the other spiders. And I could not wait for the sequel. As soon as I saw Spider-Man 2099, I jumped out of my seat and cheered. I pretty much did. So I was looking forward to seeing him in this movie, seeing what is going on with Miguel, and then the trailer dropping and showing us all these different Spider-Mans and trying to freeze the frames and point out all the different ones. Getting to see Spider-Man, like Spider-Man Unlimited, who's one of my favorite Spider-Mans from the TV show, at least, again, here in this universe. Getting to see him, seeing Spectacular Spider-Man on the poster, seeing Renew Your Vows characters, and just, it all looked great, and I'm so excited for it. The action looks, again, like it's going to be great. I'm used to the style by now. I love Spider-Gwen. She is one of my, if not my favorite alternate version of Spider-People. The only one, maybe 2099, I like a little more. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. Yeah, I'm just really excited for this movie. I love, 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 love Spider-Man. So I was going to go see this movie no matter what. But the fact that I love that first movie and the second one looks fantastic, there's no other reason that this movie doesn't make my top 10 list. If it wasn't for my number one movie, this one would be at number one. You know, a lot of YouTubers would say it can change day to day, but no. As much as I love Spider-Man, we get a lot of Spider-Man, but not as much as we get from my number one guy. So, if you haven't figured it out yet, I'll tell you what my number one is, because coming in at number two, we have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And finally, coming in at number one, we have a movie that is a continuation of, I have a hard time deciding at times if it's my favorite or second favorite movie of all time. Really depends on how I feel. But we have the sequel to my first or second most favorite movie of all time. I love this character, and I like movies, and I like things about this character that other fans don't, because I see why certain things go or happen the way they do, at least as far as I'm concerned. But with that being said, number one is an archaeologist with a bullwhip, nice hat, gets into trouble, starts punching a lot of Nazis, and that is Dr. Henry Jones, or as we know him, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. If I could only watch one movie this year, this one would be it. I love, 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 love Indiana Jones. He's right there with Spider-Man, if I'm being honest. I love Harrison Ford as Indy. Whereas a lot of people will probably say Harrison Ford to them is Han Solo. To me, he's Indiana Jones. And I liked that last movie more than a lot of people, because I accepted it. I was fine with it. Admittedly, it wasn't great, but it was still good. So with this new installment and final installment, but the only reason I do the final installment is because I think that's what they said about Crystal Skull. But yeah, this probably will be the last movie. I'll probably see this movie at least 4 times, maybe 5 times, because I love Indy that much, and I don't want to miss a chance to see him on the big screen. But the one trailer, I'm going to say it's a teaser trailer that we got. Oh, this looks so good. Yeah, there was CGI, but I didn't care. I really didn't care. The action looked good. The brief glimpses of the story we got, it looks like an Indiana Jones story. I mean, we got to get a little bit more of the synopsis. He's fighting Nazis again, which I'm sorry, but when Indy is fighting Nazis, those are the best movies. And as I heard another YouTuber say, that John Rhys Davies, yeah, who plays Sallah, said he's in the best movies. And thinking about, yeah, he's in Raiders and he's in Last Crusade. He's in this one, so this one should be pretty good as well. This should be one of the best. So, I mean, I am just so looking forward to this movie. Like I've said that a lot already. But the minute I heard that Raiders March with this trailer, my heart just started beating, pounding in my chest. And my excitement level shot through the roof. I mean, I was already excited. But if I was a thermometer, just the fact that we were getting another Indy movie, I was already boiling. With that first trailer, I started bubbling even more. But the minute I heard that Raiders March, I burst through that thermometer. I burst through the boiling point. I honestly, I could maybe get a little bit more excited when we hear about the story or we get another trailer. But I honestly don't think I can get any more excited than I already am. Again, if I could only see one movie this year, sorry Spidey, I love you, but we've only gotten 5 Indiana Jones movies. This is only the 5th one, and you've had how many? So yeah, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny comes in at my most anticipated movie of the new year. And there you have it, Earth Prime. From Peter here on Earth 626, you have my most anticipated movies of the coming year. Were there a lot of similar ones? Yeah, but I like what I like. I am who I am. Like I said, I did try to put a little diversity in there because I felt like I needed to. Or else, like I said, it would have all been superheroes probably. But yeah, we have a lot of good, fun, unique, entertaining movies coming out this year, and a lot to look forward to, including the ones that have already come out, I'm sure, in your dimension. So, if you can, I don't know how it works transdimensional, but what are your most anticipated movies for this coming year? You don't have to give all 10, you can give 15, you can give 3, I don't care. But what are they? Are there ones similar to me? Are there not? Is there any movies on this list that you're like, how or why is that in your top 10? That just makes no sense. Whatever your thoughts, comment it down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until I do another transmission from our 626, remember, read what you love, enjoy what you love, and let's all work for a better fandom. Hope to see you next time.